everyone, this is Hannah and Kaylin, back again with Double Talk. Released in 2020 and based on true events, The Mimic is a film that follows a man who goes to extreme lengths to uncover the truth about his neighbor. Today we're chatting with Jake Robinson, who stars alongside Thomas Sadoski in the thought-provoking film about his process for playing a sociopath. Sociopaths are often portrayed in the media as being scary. Your character, the kid, is a sociopath. Is he scary to you?
It was hard because I think it's hard to play a sociopath because they are people. So I just was trying to find tendencies that I saw in other people that I might think were sociopaths, or like what I had read or researched. I read a couple books about what that was, but the biggest thing was as a comedy, the dialogue lent itself to that. But I also was like, this guy can't be totally unlikable because then what's the point, sort of. And I also felt like because he was a real person, I was like, oh, this guy's married. He just moved to this new neighborhood. And so I tried to take like a different viewpoint from what the writer director had kind of written him as and see him as like, well, what if I'm actually the normal one?
Yeah, that's what we kept saying to each other. Are we sure are we sure the kid is the sociopath? Because they both have very interesting personalities. It's not cut and dry, really. Yeah, and I like what you said, too, about how you had to make him likable even though he's a sociopath, because it seems like a lot of shows and a lot of actors who play these unlikable characters, like Dexter is one of our favorite shows, and he's a serial killer, and yet you still like him. It's like, is that hard as an actor to make somebody who's supposed to be unlikable, you kind of root for him in a way?
Well, he's kind of written super annoying, and so that was the other thing, like, playing against that, I like to think I have a little bit of inherent charm to sort of who I am. So if I at least start with the baseline of what my personality is, then I can put on the other things. And there was like already so much in the script that was written that it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have to like do these things. Like he was already weird. And so I just was like, okay, I just have to bring myself to what's going on, and it will come out in the way that it needs to come out, hopefully.
The way that the narrator and the kid kind of go back and forth, it almost feels like a tennis match. Like at the beginning, it's very unsettling. It kind of like throws you off, and then it just keeps going and going and going like that. When we watch them talk to each other like that, how are we supposed to feel? Like, is that supposed to tell us anything about them, just the way they communicate, or what's the meaning behind the way they go at each other all the time?
Kind of looking at it retroactively, I'm like, oh, like these are just two really, really lonely people that aren't meeting up, like aren't aligning. And then by the end, I think they kind of realize the similarities in each other and form this friendship. Spoiler alert.
It's funny because you're supposed to, obviously, the sociopath, you're supposed to get a vibe that he behaves unusually and he behaves strangely. The narrator, though, the way he grabs onto him and takes this immediate, intense interest in him, that's almost just as unusual.
Yeah, I feel like he could have walked away and he didn't. So clearly there was something there, right? Like some sort of mutual whatever. But also like sociopaths, there's one in every 25, as the movie says. I don't think we do often think about them as like violent or dangerous or scary, but they're not. I actually think probably some of the most successful people in the world are sociopaths, like some of the best CEOs, because they can make decisions and have a clear conscience, I guess.
Imagine like a movie night where somebody's watching it with their like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and by it we mean the Mimic. Friend, yeah. It's movie night, we're watching the Mimic. At the end of the movie, what do you picture? Like the credits are rolling, what do you picture the one person turning to whoever they're watching the movie with and saying? Because at the end of a movie you make the first thing came to mind is this. What do you imagine that conversation being like?
What did you guys think?
I knew you were going to say that. It made me think about the fact that when your first impression of somebody isn't always exactly how they turn out to be. Like when you meet somebody for the first time, you can be so sure that they're a certain way, and then you spend a little bit of time with them, and you get to see them in different situations. The next thing you know, you were just like, I was completely wrong. And you know what I actually said to her as soon as the movie finished? I feel like they could have taken, and I think this made it better for me. They could have taken like, and probably more so if it was a psychopath than a sociopath. But like I said, like there's a way that people look at sociopaths in the media, and right away and all the way through to the end, there was nothing about your character that to me was like the stereotypical sociopath, which made it more intriguing to me, to be honest, because it kept me like waiting for for him to like out himself, to the point where we were having discussions, like she said, of who's the sociopath, because I knew it was the kid, but when you watch it, it's really not that obvious until the story unfolds, and even then it's not a what's the word, it's not a caricature of a sociopath, I guess.
I think I would get done watching it and be like, one, what did I just watch? That was really interesting and odd and a little bit confusing. And then two, I think kind of what you guys touched on so beautifully is that you just never know. You never can just take take someone for face value and feel like you really have a good understanding of who they are without walking in their shoes a little bit. They say mimicry is the sincerest form of flattery. So, there you go.